Hey guys, so I wanted to jump on because I found some interesting news about the government going to be banning mild hybrids from 2030. Now, following on from what we've seen on the previous UK ZEV mandate by 2030, I can see this article by The Telegraph by Matt Oliver. Now, the title of this headline is Best-selling hybrids to be banned from 2030 under net zero crackdown. Strict limit on CO2 emissions would mean popular models can no longer be sold. So some of Britain's best-selling hybrid cars are going to be banned from 2030 under the net zero crackdown proposed by the ministers. Now, government favours a strict limit on CO2 emissions that would mean popular models by Range Rover, Ford, Volkswagen, Nissan could no longer be sold. In the consultation documents published the day before Christmas, the government confirmed plans to allow new hybrid vehicles to remain on market for 5 years after the ban on pure petrol and diesel models. However, the proposed emission limits are stricter than expected and would mean that the swath of popular vehicles will have to come off the market. Now, the image used here is a Range Rover Evoque mild hybrid with 168 grams per kilometre of CO2. We can see we've got a Ford Puma mild hybrid, 121 grams per kilometre CO2. Nissan Qashqai, 142 grams. Volkswagen Golf Match, 121 grams, along with the Hyundai Tucson mild hybrid, 129 grams, for example. Now, the proposal is meant to prevent a situation where petrol and hybrid diesels would be banned, while some existing hybrids are more polluting remain on sale. It would limit to 115 grams per kilometre of CO2, potentially ruling out the sale of many mild hybrids that we'd seen just a moment ago. Now, those with electric motors that cannot be used to drive significant distances, as well as a number of plug-in models. Models that would face bans under this rule include the aforementioned Range Rover Evoque, Nissan Qashqai, Golf, and Ford Puma, amongst others, analysts of the Telegraph suggest. Now, the true impact could be even larger because emission ratings for most plug-in hybrid vehicles do not reflect real-world performance and are set to be updated. Now, that's a classic example. I think the new BMW M5 is aimed at or classed at 50 grams per kilometre CO2. So, be curious to see vehicles like that are plug-in hybrid. What happens later on? It's in many cases true emissions of plug-in hybrids are 243% higher, according to the government. In many cases, the true emissions of plug-ins are 243% higher, according to the government, and emission figures are revised up higher in the coming years. Many more models will come off the market. Another option for limiting the sale of hybrids imposing CO2 limits on manufacturing fleets where average and taking the model into account would be used. Now it's giving you a little graph here below with petrol, diesel, electric plug-in and normal hybrid with the figures produced by the SMMT. Now, under this current mandate, the share of electric vehicles sold by car makers must gradually rise from 22% this year up to 80% by 2030. Now, the former Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has pushed back on a full-blown ban on petrol and diesel cars by 2035 in the run-up to the summer election proposed to bring the ban in by 2030 by the Labour government. Now, ministers have always planned to ban pure petrol and diesel cars, but there had been confusion until now what that would mean for hybrid cars, which partly run on electric motors before the ban on combustion vehicles in 2035. In the consultation published on Christmas Eve, the government said that favoured policy where hybrids would be explicitly allowed from 2030 to 2035 with a limit on carbon emissions going back to that 115 grams per kilometre of CO2. It's also put forward options for relaxing parts of the ZEV mandate, for example, allowing companies to beat their targets for electric vans to be given more leeway on electric car targets and ask manufacturers for ideas to boost demand for EVs. Now, Heidi Alexander, the Transport Secretary, has said the automotive industry has been stifled by the lack of certainty and direction, adding this government will change that. Drivers are already embracing EVs faster than ever, with 1 in 4 new cars sold in November are electric. Today's measures will help us capitalise on clean energy transition to support thousands of jobs and make the UK a clean energy superpower and rebuild Britain. And just one last little bit here, we do have it saying in quotation marks, aside from billions invested in new technologies and products, it has cost manufacturers in excess of 4 billion in discounting in the UK this year alone. So what do you guys all think about this new kind of update to the ZEV mandate for 2030? Is it going to encourage you to buy an electric car? Is it going to maybe want to keep your petrol car a little bit longer? Comment below your thoughts, and yeah, be curious to hear what everybody's thinking. I just wanted to jump on and share this with you all because I found this article today and I thought it's Boxing Day, and you can see by the festive jumper it's a little bit impromptu, but hopefully you guys found it informative. As always, comment below and I will see you next video. Ciao.